Thank you very much all for joining, and I believe this is Saturday morning and I'm not disturbing you guys, but believe me, I mean if you are in this session, so definitely you are interested to know more about analytics, machine learning, and your career, I mean in that direction. And I believe, yeah, this is the very I mean right time and good time so that you are switched into this session. And I mean long way for this machine learning and analytics side. So industry just started to exploring things, and you are on right track. And believe me, you are far ahead from people who still don't know even like what is machine learning. They are scared about the things machine learning and all these keywords that you hear day to day life: data science, machine learning, deep learning, and analytics, advanced analytics, and so you are far ahead from those guys, and you have at least dare to come and join. So I think pretty good thing for you guys. uh, uh, I will introduce first myself, and then we'll go ahead with the presentation. But I am still getting some messages from guys like they are still joining. So can we hold for like 2-3 more minutes if you guys can wait, because I want everyone to be on same page. I mean don't okay, so there are a couple of more guys. Okay, but before that, I mean if we start, let's do one thing. I mean, can you guys quickly, I can see your name, and give me your year of experience and the industry you are working in, or maybe the company you are working in. So that will help me to like kind of some analysis that how the audiences are all about. So we'll like gradually start that. Only like your year of experience plus the industry or the company you can share. Yeah. Someone is asking, is it a audio seminar? Yes, it is a audio seminar. Okay, I can see Ashish 6 years banking, Hariom 3.5. Okay, 2 plus 1, 11-year Cognizant, awesome. 13-year Ford Motors. Okay, cool. Okay, 13 years. Okay, HCL Technology 16 years. 10 years, awesome. 11 years Infosys, 16 years, nice. 5 years UHG, okay. And 15 years, okay. SAP, 4 years Capgemini. Oh, okay. So I can see like more people are coming towards like 7 to 15 years window. Little people who are less fresher or maybe less than 7 years of experience. 10 years USC. Okay, Vikas, thanks for joining. Special thanks to you. And okay, 12 years IT Capgemini, 15 years. Okay, so this like population is more towards people who are more experienced, like who are like similar to my age, and so that's fantastic. I mean, you guys can easily relate what I'm talking about. Good to see. 16 years, Eton, 5 years. Okay. 10 years, Bangalore. Good morning, guys. 6 years, Buildersoft. 2+ years, okay. 5. So I find few people who are like 2+ year, 1 year experience, but more are like more towards 15 plus, 10 plus. Okay, great. So, and the participants, I can see like it's been crossed 85 and so very good, like I can say attendance here. All right, guys, so I think we can start. So I have a fair idea about the population now, how it is. So I will summarize with you guys. So people less than like 30-40% people who are like less than 5 years experience, and 30-40% people who are 5 to 10, and similar kind of people who are greater than 4 year experience, 10 years of experience. So it's a mixed population here, guys. Let me start now. Okay, so here is the agenda that we will discuss today. I will start quick introduction of me. I know like you are least interested to know about me, but yeah, then we'll go for machine learning. What is machine learning and why it is so popular nowadays? Like people are so crazy about machine learning, data science, and all these things. And what is industry all about? Like what industry thinks about these things? What is the scope and all those things? Then a quick workflow I will try to cover. I know like it will be a bit difficult for you guys to understand, but yeah, I will try in layman terms so that like you guys understand what it is. And then we'll cover like few product use cases and customer use cases so that people know like how it is being used in finance and banking industry, because I come from banking background and have good experience in banking side, so I will try to relate things there. And then we'll go to question and answer, and I think we'll try we'll like put enough buffer for that so that you can ask your questions. Feel free to ask any kind of question, and of course should be related to machine learning and data analytics and about industry and all those things. And if you still have any questions, I will like give my LinkedIn and that stuff so that you can send, or maybe the Great Learning guys, you can get in touch with them so that you can ask. Okay, so another guy I can see, Bhuvan, 20 years experience. Excellent, sir. Welcome here. Okay, so now guys, I think introduction part is almost done, and please stop writing any like experience kind of stuff, because otherwise it will be difficult for me to read if someone is asking some questions. I will prefer like if you don't ask questions in between, and just park your questions within yourself, and once the like I will ask for Q&A, just start typing the questions so that I will able to answer and others don't disturb in between. Okay, the participants is now like 93. Oh, I was not expecting so much, but okay guys, it shows like people are really crazy about machine learning. They really want to know what it is and how it's being used and about their career path and so I will not want you guys to wait more. Let me start introducing myself. So about me. Okay, so I am a working as a senior consultant data science in WNS. I recently joined WNS. Before that, I was with RBS, Royal Bank of Scotland. I was working as an AVP there in like metrics analytics projects. And prior to that, I was with Macquarie, and I spent like good amount of time in Sapient, around 7 years. So it is all about my experience. And in education, like I did bachelor's in statistics, then did MCA from GJU. So more or I am like kind of person which all of you, I think the most population will belong to like some bachelor's or BTech people. So I started my career in like data engineering side and slowly moved towards analytics. You know what, analytics is analytics is being used in the industry from past 10-15 years, but now suddenly like last 2-3 years it is in so demand that you don't find much people who are like experienced in this thing, and like more data engineers are there. So now suddenly after its growth and after its demand, like people suddenly moving towards analytics area. Okay, so about me. Okay, so and I have good experience towards like some of the financial processes implementation, like fraud underwriting, trade and risk, etc. So that's all about me. I mean, and like more you can go to LinkedIn page and you can find me there if you need like more details. Now let me move ahead with the interesting topic for today. What is machine learning? Okay guys, so you can see there is a couple of keywords I highlighted here. Probability, machine learning, support, vector machine, neural networks, algorithm, pattern, dataset, features, and like all those things. So don't get scared about these words and like high level words. These are new to you guys. I mean, it can be new to you guys, but as and when you will enter in this word, like these are pretty simple words, and I would say I will encourage you to go and read something about these. Keep yourself updated what is happening in industry, that will give you some kind of sense what is going on in the industry. So I will start defining what is machine learning. So if you go by the name, so you will find like machine learning, if it is something that you are trying to learn, either trying to teach to either to a machine, or some machine is there, you need to do some kind of maybe some hardware that you're trying to build, and you're trying to do some kind of robotics and all those. But believe me, this is nothing like that. It is purely about programming and previous data sets. So I take a quick example, or like easy example, to make you guys understand what is machine learning or what is analytics and like how it works. There is a image processing thing. I mean, if you guys know, if I ask you to create a program or like develop a program, so that okay, I heard people are saying your voice is breaking. Okay, so guys, 1 second. Let me check. Sorry guys, I believe some people are complaining about the voice. Is it better now? Okay, voice. Ramesh, is it better? Increase volume. Okay, let me increase a bit more. Is it better? Ramesh, it's fine. Okay, perfect. So it's fine. Okay, so yeah, better now. Okay, cool. So I was taking an example of machine learning. So let's say I ask you to write a program on image processing, and you create some program, and let's say like to understand like 7 in a numeric word. So you write 7 in different ways. 7, you can cross 7, you can move it in some other language kind of thing. So 7 7 7, you wrote like 8 times 7, and then you gave this 7 as an input to a program, and teach that program that okay, this is the 7, and if you read this kind of image, so you need to put your output that this is 7. So it might happen that all the cases you haven't covered, right? You only covered like 10 cases. You write 7 10 times and give it to the program, and the program will see okay, 7 can be written in this way. So tomorrow that 7, like somebody else comes and who writes 7 and then he crosses it in between. So in that scenario the program will not able to read that this is 7. But what machine learning does, or what you can do, you can make that program in such a way that it understands its mistakes, and it finds a way to interpret itself, to learn from its mistakes, and it return whatever is there is the correct way. So okay, so I try to explain that 7, the new 7, that the 11th time that you wrote that 7, that was incorrect. So I gave this input to the program and said 7, this guy is not able to predict the 7. It will say this is not a 7. But I will say to that program, oh, hold on, this is a 7, but it was not an input. Now consider this in its input. Next time if somebody else will write the 7 with cross line, so this program will know okay, this is 7. So my point here is, if you make a program that learn by its mistakes, and it's keep on learning whatever inputs you give, so if 100 times 7, 10 times more, 10 times more, so at the end it becomes so perfect that it can easily make what 7 it is. So anyhow you will write the 7, you will find the 7. That's what like Google is doing these days. I mean, you must have heard about Google Assistant, and like Sundar Pichai like speaks more or more about machine learning, image processing, video, and all those things. So machine learning is all about a programming. You write something, and some program that itself understands from its mistakes, and it keep building and keep building, so that it becomes perfect at the end. These guys, I mean, I heard like Sundar Pichai some days back, and it said like in voice recognition their system is doing I think 99% accuracy. So that's awesome, guys. I mean, just think about the situation. You simply go with a Google Assistant and you don't need to learn any language, and it can easily translate it to some other language. Perfect. Okay, so let's go by the discussion, I mean the definition, Wikipedia. I'm sure it will be difficult at the moment. So machine learning is a scientific discipline that deals with construction and study of algorithms that can learn from data. Yeah. So today we have whole lot of data, and the only thing that we need some algorithm and some program that can go into this data, find something and can bring it to me. So that's what people do in analytics these days, and that's as we will move further, I will discuss on these topics, touch upon these topics. So that's machine learning is. So don't scare about the spot vector machines and neural networks, all those things. This advanced topic is coming in machine learning. That's like deep learning, NLP, cognitive programming. All these things are still not matured yet. They are coming. But of course, machine learning has reached to a level, at least now. So lots of APIs are available, lots of inbuilt programs are available that you can use. You don't need to write everything from scratch. You can use these programs and embed it with your applications. But the only thing that you need to know, what this program is all about, how it works, what its input, what its output, how you can plug it with your application. So that's what the job should be. I hope I am clear till now in machine learning. Let me go ahead with the next slide, what it is. Okay, so the interesting thing is why machine learning is now, or I was just telling a few minutes back that the analytics is there in industry from last 10 years and so, but why it's so popular right now and from last 2-3 years now. So there are certain very good reasons behind it that it becomes so popular, and it's in so demand right now in the industry. So one thing is that the powerful computing resources available in the market. Look about the mobile, right? Today you have mobiles that have 6 GB of RAM, right? 4 GB of RAM. Earlier days, or in my laptop itself is having 4 GB RAM, right? So that's what it is. Industry, the computing powerful, or the powerful of the computing power is so much in right now, it's so increasing that, and it's easily available in the market on cheaper rates. Look about these Amazon Web Services, Microsoft Azure, Salesforce. These what these guys are doing. They are hosting all these big computers, big clusters at their end, and they are providing these service to people. So you guys can go and in some bucks you can buy some storage, some processing power will be much cheaper, much cheaper if you if you compare it with 10 years back. So the computing power is more and is available at very cheap prices. So that's how machine learning is getting popular now. People don't need to spend so much if they want to try something on their data. Second thing is data. Guys, I mean everybody from you must be from computer engineering background, and they have done some kind of data engineering kind of thing. Must be SQL or maybe some other way in Excel or somehow or the other. Now in industry, the data volume is so huge, right? So think about the banks. Banks are in the operations, if the big banks that I talk about, Morgan Stanley, Goldman Sachs, RBS, Deutsche Bank, and all those, they are in industry for last few years. I mean not only few years, 10, 20, 50 years, and the data they are holding that data is also very huge. Now they need somebody, or at least some programming language or some department who can go into that data, find some insights and bring it to table, so that if there are some mistakes the bank has done in past, they don't repeat. Some good things they have done, they can go ahead with them. And you think about the data is how much data we are generating these days. I mean you guys using mobile and TV and everything, right? So data, the volume in which we are generating data is very huge. Right now we have 10-20 apps in our mobile. Every day we order something, the data is generated. So to understand that data, we need something, and that is machine learning. Since data, I was just taking that it's very cheap to store that data, and it's good. So machine learning, you can use that data for the computation and all. And the last important thing is the more complex algorithms. So think about a situation like 10 years back. We were having analytics. We were having some few algorithms like if you know something about analytics, linear regression, logistic regression, all these things. Not more than that. These algorithms were based on statistics, but not on the sampling side. Like so if you have population, you bring some sample. On that sample, you do some calculation and you modify your algorithms and you get some results. So mainly like SAS, SPSS, and all. Yeah, these were like popular tools that we were used to in like predicting analytics and all. So the last topic that I was discussing, the last thing that I was about to say is more complex algorithms, and I was almost done on that. That since data availability is huge and the computation power is huge, so it resulted into the more complex algorithms, and that's why machine learning is getting popular. Every industry wants to come into this field as soon as possible to make the profits. Definitely everyone runs for profit. Okay, so let me jump to the next slide now. This is, one second. Alright, so this is machine learning workflow, and don't get so scared about it if you don't understand anything. That's absolutely fine. But this is a kind of workflow that a typical project of machine learning has to follow. So if I think about a situation, if I give you a situation, okay, so let's say like I have few data sets available with me, and I am a bank and have holding data for last 10 years, and now I say that and this data is more about like, let's say like credit card data or loan data, like people who took the loan from bank and they did not repay it, like they did some default, and I want some algorithm today to analyze that data and can come, okay, these are the people who actually took the loan and haven't repaid back. So I learn as a program from these people, and if some people or someone comes with similar characteristics, I will straight away say no, I will not give loan to you as a bank, right? So that results into like 2-3 parts, the whole thing into, like if you divide the whole thing into 2-3 parts, so it will be easier for us to understand. So first thing will be the training set. So training set is nothing but the data available with us. So I am talking about like 10 years data with me. So that 10 years data, I will consider that as a training set, or some historical data, some historical information that I have. Based upon that, in this historical information, I might have like certain variables, maybe like 100, 200, 500, 1000 variables. But not all of these are important to me, right? Maybe there is some unique ID is there. I cannot do anything of that unique ID. So these kind of things that are not perfect as a variable, so we need to do the feature extraction. So that's like techniques available in the machine learning language as and when you will go. So just don't put so much pressure on these words. So I'm just trying to make it as simple as possible so that you guys understand. So once we have historical data, you do some kind of feature extraction. This feature extraction is basically out of 100 variables, 200 variables, and 1000 variables, you find some important variables. So let's example, like you find like 50 are the important variables that are somehow related, like maybe salary of the person, age of the person, number of house or people in the family, and so on, so forth. So then there is, you need some algorithm or some program that I'm talking about to read from these characteristics, and tomorrow if somebody else comes with these characteristics, it can say you should go ahead with like loan or you should not. So these are the machine learning algorithms. So we can use that in this like any algorithm. So these you will read like in the first presentation of this, I mentioned like algorithms. So these are the name of the algorithms. So you can see like support vector machine, classification problems. There are different problems also in the market. So maybe like neural networks, you can see logistic regression. I just said like if the classical problem is there or the classical solution you need. Then there are random forest, decision trees. So these clustering and all these things, these are available in the market. The algorithms, some great people had developed these. So you just need to have the understanding of these algorithms and to know like which algorithm will apply on this data to get some insights from that particular data. Now like after this machine learning algorithm part is done, then you find the output of that. So it gives either any predictive model that can say no, give loan to the person, yes, no, or it might come like you don't need to, or it might come with some kind of cluster. So let's say like all the 10 years data, it brings like 7 or 8 clusters, and it said people who were in this cluster were like rich people who always paid their loan, in this cluster who like sometimes missed their EMIs, this cluster who never paid the loan. So something like that. So multiple outcome can come from a machine learning algorithm. That depends upon the algorithm logic and the algorithm that you choose and the kind of problem. So majorly like supervised and supervised, these two are in much detail. So I don't want to go into more detail into this, just for the sake of time and all these things. Let me go ahead with the next slide. So this is typically scenario of a workflow. So you have past data, you apply algorithm, you get some results. So that's how it goes in any of the typical problem. Okay, so today our topic, I am like more interested to give you some example, guys, some example about the banking industry and how like machine learning is being used in banking, and so that you try to relate things with what is going in the market in the banking or financial sector or maybe some other sectors. So almost like all the problems are similar more or less in some sense, but like different industry use these algorithms in different ways. That's the only difference it is right now. So this slides typically talks about how banking is being used in the industry, and you will see like people come from like share market in the banks, like there can be share market, loans, investment, underwriting, shares and merger acquisition, pension funds, and maybe a saving account, credit cards. So these are the transactions that happen in a bank. So in a bank every day like millions of transactions happen if it is a big bank. People are doing so much transaction. Now think how much data these transactions are generating, and bank have how much information of each and every individual. I'm an individual, I'm going somewhere, I have a credit card, I'm using that credit card and booking the tickets. Bank knows that this guy is going from maybe from this location to that location. Now they have a good idea of what they can offer to this person if they want to utilize that information, and that's why like machine language is coming into the picture now. So I will discuss some use cases in next slides, how it's being used, and then we'll quickly go to the question and answer because the host is asking that time is less and we should move ahead to the Q&A session. Okay, sir. Okay. Okay, there's one guy says can't hear anything. Rajesh, is it better? I should go ahead. Okay, fine. So it's fine. So now let me move to the next slide. These are the few use cases that I try to find from market or different websites, that how it's being used, and in typical scenario the banking is how it's being benefited by these. So I will not take enough time, we'll quickly cover. So portfolio is one that everyone, like people who are, I can see in this population of people who are like 10 plus years of experience, guys, they have like some amount already with them. They want to invest that amount in the market, or maybe they want to go with fixed deposits and all those things. So now I think I have some like 100 rupees to invest. If I straight away go in a market and go buy some shares of 100 rupees, what will happen? It might happen tomorrow that price go up by like maybe 200%, and so, and I'm like I invested something and I have very good return on that. Might happen that tomorrow market crashes and my 100 becomes zero. Maybe possibilities are there. So what is the best way if I have to invest 100 rupees? I can go with cash, I can go with market, I can go with like fixed deposit, I can buy some government funds. So there are multiple options are available. But now the question comes, if I choose all the options, how much percent should I put in each of these brackets so that my risk is minimum and my return is high? These things nowadays, like algorithms are there. What you can do, like in the banks, they have developed some algorithms, they have something. So like banks that are using machine learning for this thing, you as an individual go to the bank, give them your details, your salary, your age, your like where you're living, how many children you have, and all this stuff, how many money you want to invest, what is your criteria, when you need the money, all these things you give. What they will do, they will pass these as a parameter to the machine learning algorithm. That algorithm will give you a return on some brackets, right? If you go ahead with this, investing 30% here, 2% there and all, you can get these kind of inputs. Yeah, you are right, Wajid. So these kind of input you can get from portfolio in the machine learning. So these are more advanced these days. So the accuracy is more, the less chances of default, and so. The next example is on credit card. So that's been used in the past for like many years. One is the forgery of credit cards. So you are doing some transaction, there are chances that it's not your credit card, somebody else is using that credit. I mean, your credit card somebody else is using. So how, as a bank, it will identify this is your transaction or somebody else who is using this credit card. Or might be the I as a like defaulter, I go to bank and say, oh, I have this much of salary, I can produce some fake salaries and all the fake information. I can say, okay, give me that credit card. So bank has to predict if I am a good customer or a bad customer, I should be given a credit card or not given a credit card. As simple as the case of loan, I should be given a loan or not. These days, like machine learning techniques like random forest, decision trees, neural network, there are a few which has come with a significant amount of accuracy as compared to the old algorithms that we were using in the past, maybe logistics and all. So, and that's the reason it becomes more and more popular. Every bank wants to use, because every bank has a business of credit card, they have a business of portfolios. Next is underwriting. Underwriting comes into the insurance when a bank or a bank goes for as you as a building, like, or as a corporate goes to the bank, okay, I need this much of insurance for all my employees and all. They will say like how much is the credit worth of this company, how much employees are there, what kind of business it is doing, all these things it consider, and based upon that, if it has past data, it has given that particular insurance to that guy, but they defaulted, they did not pay the premium, they are always delaying. So based upon that, they can define the premium, and that's also a risk assessment we can say in the insurance. Next is algorithm trading. This is also like becoming very popular these days. Trading that being done by algorithms, not by a human being. What you can do, I go and do some kind of trading today and find, oh, I can see like this bank is doing good, this Reliance is doing good, I can go and purchase its share and it will give me some return. No, you go by the algorithm. Algorithm, what it does, it takes certain other parameters, what's happening in the market, maybe the text mining and all, like what kind of trend it is for Reliance, what kind of trend it is for particular industry. Based upon these certain parameters, it gives you a approximate probability that there are chances that this trade will go up or go down, or these are the chances. Because of that, you can decide you want to buy this share, or you want to sell this share, or you want to hold here. So all these things. So that's how like algorithm trading is being done in industry right now. Let me go to the next slide. Okay, so next is the customer specific, more customer specific. So customer is the like you or me or everybody like in the industry read like every day, like customer is God for us, customer is, client is this, client is that, and that's true. Like, so what a customer can do with the bank. So I was just giving you an example. If I'm going somewhere and I'm using credit card, bank knows each and every detail. I go to Amazon, I buy something, I go to somebody else and take some money that comes into my bank, I purchase a home, that transaction is being recorded by the bank. So bank knows everything about me. So what if they can utilize this information? I go like maybe Delhi to Bangalore and then flight is being booked. What if bank know that I'm going there and they can simply say, okay, this hotel is coming by this percentage and we have a corporate account with that, and maybe like you as a privileged customer of the bank, we will give you 30% discount, 40% discount. So high chances that I will go with the bank's provided accommodation. So these things are coming these days. You can see maybe whenever you type these hotel or all these websites, these things come into the picture, Amazon and all. Next is the sentiment analysis. Sentiment is, I was just talking about my text mining and all, like what people are writing about a particular company on Facebook, what people are writing about the political scenario, what people are writing about some like industry as a whole. So you can gather this information from internet, from social media, and you find some trend. Okay, market is going to this trend, industry also going in this trend, that also going in this trend. So sentiment is high. So you can go and invest something there. You can ask your customers, okay, since sentiment is good, you can go and buy some shares, and that may give some good results to that, and that's a good reputation for the bank. Next is that's the recommendation kind of thing. So you everyday like face on Amazon and some websites you go, how that's again like behind the scene, it's all machine learning, it's all algorithms that do the job for you. You just need to pass some parameters and it will give the output, okay, this is good, bad, and how these are related. So like recommendation is, again, I go and buy something from Amazon, somebody else also comes, and now the algorithm task is to identify if me and somebody else who is coming, are we similar in nature, are our characteristics are matching. If matching, then there are high chances that what I bought, this guy will also be interested in that thing. So that's what, again, like you don't need to do anything. Again, machine learning algorithms are there. You need to map these algorithms correctly, mapped with correct people when it comes, and they run like behind the scene, Amazon and like Flipkart or maybe like big e-commerce sites. Every day, lot of machine learning behind the scene that happens. So guys, this is more or less about machine learning in finance. I know the time is less and I will not speak too much on these topics now, and we'll straight away move to like questions and answers now. So start typing your questions, anything you'll ask about analytics and machine learning and all those things. I will take one by one and will try to answer. So let me try to give answer one by one. So one guy is asking, what are the programming languages that's been used in the like analytics and all. So guys, there are like three major players in the market. One is SAS, then R, and then Python. So you know, SAS is typically being used by companies because it's been used quite old. So you can see like banks and like big organizations, those who are using SAS are again like using SAS, and they have like they are bounded to do that because they have already purchased some license, they have invested so much amount, they have now their softwares there, so they cannot get rid of it. But the market of SAS is going down as compared to R and SAS and the R and Python, and the main reason behind this is R and Python both are open source and easily available in market. So many algorithms are there, so many functions already defined, so people can go and do anything they want to do. So I will recommend, if you are starting your career, so go ahead with R. That's the easiest language that you can do. And if you have some kind of programming languages experience, maybe in Java and some .NET or something like that you have done, so Python is also good level. Because the major difference between Python and R is this: Python started with a motive of not being used as a like statistical program. They have some other things to do, but later on they gradually, if they see that the market is doing so good in machine learning algorithms, so they also developed machine learning algorithms and they move towards that. Second is the R. R started with a statistical language or a machine learning language itself, and they don't have any kind of interface. So if tomorrow you need to connect it with somewhere, so there are challenges in R but not in Python. So I hope I answered your question. Okay, so next question is, machine learning, AI and neural networks terms are used in some context. Please differentiate between the terms. Okay, so with these are like the terms only. So you can say Bayes is these are like sub child of analytics, I would say. So there is a big parent that's called analytics, and within that these are the ranges, like one is machine learning, another is neural network, another is artificial intelligence. And again, like the base is machine learning for all these things. So machine learning, when it goes to some advanced level, it becomes artificial intelligence. Similarly, neural networks are nothing but some more complex algorithms within machine learning, that's called neural network. So somehow or other these all are interrelated, and you need to make your mind that okay, don't get confused by these terms, just go and focus on one thing, that's called analytics. And like maybe like your job could be like data science or something like that, so go for any of it, that's at the end you will find easy. Okay, so there is one question coming from one guy, that how to get into analytics field with no prior experience in analytics. That's pretty good question. So okay, so guys, I think the important thing is that you should eager to learn. If you are willing to learn much things and more things, and you really interested towards machine learning, not because that you today came and joined some session and forgot and come back after 1 month, oh yeah, machine learning, somebody told me on that day, I understand something, okay, so should I go or not, oh let's see, let's do it after 2 months, and so this is the right time, I would say the best time to get into this thing. If you complete something within 6 months or 1 year of horizon you take with you, and you invest your time into, there are so many available things in the market, open source also available, great learning, these guys are also doing a good job, and they give some insights that a person should invest into, and so that like you can go ahead with them. Or maybe I will not like to name anything here, but yeah, so many things available, you can just, the only concern is that you need to be willing to do that, and you will do that. So no prior experience is required, some projects you need to do. So like these guys, great learning, they also like give you hands-on in projects and all these things, so that you can get into that. Next question, being from software testing, how can machine learning help me? Okay, so okay guys, so one thing I want to like tell you all here, that you must be hearing some news from layoffs, right, from IBM, Cognizant, TCS, Wipro, Infosys, I don't know like which companies. This is one thread that's going on. There is another thread, you must be reading Economic Times, Times of India, that jobs of data scientist is in more demand. We are expecting this much of hike by that year, this much of percentage by that year. Look at the differences. Market is going down, you are saying like annually like 1 lakh software engineers, and these guys will be will lose their jobs, and another hand you are saying the demand is more, and you are not finding people of that level, and that so look at the difference now, and it's time to decide where you want to go, this field or that field. And I think that gives the answer of your question, like software, even for software testing, if you are building a model, or you building an algorithm or some application, definitely testing would be there, but you need to know what you want to test here. Instead of testing some something on a website on that, here you will test the output of that model. Is it correctly passed, somebody who was like the algorithm worked correctly well or not well. So definitely there is scope, but you need to learn. Could you please include in bit more terms of concepts and application of machine learning? Vijay, I think for that we need another session, something like that, and we probably think more. Okay, so this is not the right form for concepts and those application discussion. I already discussed about some applications in finance, so that's it. Another question is coming from Vikas, what about Octave and MATLAB? Okay, so Octave and MATLAB, again, like if you go with the license of MATLAB, it's really costly, and that is the reason like it's not so popular. A few days back it was, but now I will honestly say, if you are interested, go with R or Python. These are like more demand in the industry. There are like few companies who are asked for Octave and MATLAB. Octave I hardly get to know about few companies that who are interested in, but MATLAB still, like, there are few companies around Goldman Sachs and like big brands who go for it. But R and Python, every industry, every service company, you will find a number of jobs based upon your experience and all. Someone is asking, yeah, sir, is it mandatory to know perfect programming in analytics and machine learning? I'm not from functional side. Can I opt to it? Okay. So guys, there is nothing called mandatory here. The only thing is that you need to know the concepts. You need to know the output, input. So companies go with analytics firms or the analytics people with some statement, some problem statement. They say, I have this much of data and I don't know what to do with this. Now analytics companies, they're very smart, right? And they play, oh yeah, we do this, we do that, we do AI, we do machine learning, we do that, we do this, and we will give something to you. Guys, the client that they come, they become very happy. Okay, perfect. So let me do one thing. We can sign a contract for 1 year and go ahead and find something. Now when you go into that, you find so many things are there, and once you start involving this much of data somebody is giving you, definitely some insights you will give, and based upon that you can go like more ahead with the same approach, and you can find something good out of it. So no need to be strict to some programming language only, but I would suggest strict to the concepts that you can run. Another question. What are the algorithms available for predicting? Okay, so there are so many algorithms available, Arvind. I mean, as I mentioned, like they're supervised, non-supervised. So based upon that, the algorithms are available. I think this will be complex for other guys. So hello sir, I come from a CS background. However, I have good coding experience in R, MATLAB, C programs. I graduated from NIT, this engineering, and currently working with Tata Motors. I'm interested in analytics. Is it possible to say? Of course. So Marin Moy, I mean, if I pronounced correctly your name, of course you can. And you said like you got a good experience in R. So only thing that you need to do some kind of conceptual understanding of the machine learning, how it is being used, what best you can, the use cases that you have read. So go for some course. I would recommend, I mean, if you can spend some money, then go for these, and if money is the constraint, then you can like find some open source courses that are also available that can help you, and some project you can do on your own, and you will find. There is another question. I hope I answered your question. What is your advice for people with 15 years experience in customer service management in analytics? Okay, so Vivek, I think 15 years of experience, if I'm pretty sure you must have knowledge about the processes and all the things, how a company works, how the sales happen. So for you guys, I would suggest the best thing is if you know the analytics, and if you go by these kind of courses, and these are important because I can relate myself, because you cannot spend enough time at home and on. So you will have a good understanding of what is the whole analytics about, what is the market is all about, how it is moving, and later you can switch your career towards like pre-sales or consulting towards that. So that will give you benefit. You go to the client, you can you don't need to write any code, but you need to be aware about what is going in the industry and what best you can bring for these clients to the table. So I would suggest, I mean, that's that can be one option if you can choose. Okay. Could you please let us know your day-to-day task? Oh, this is more of an interview question, Rag. So day-to-day task, like any of the problems statement if you get. So I work as a data scientist, and what kind of problem I get? Every day we had a call with client in the morning, and that call, like we call it as a daily call or scrum call kind of thing. We discuss some problem statements we have given. You need to solve this problem. So now you need to start analyzing the data. You go back to the client, you say, no, this is not good, this is bad, I don't have this amount of data, that is not good, I'm using this algorithm. Then they say, no, why using this, what is the output this, why not that? This is a question every day you can face. You suggest something, they also suggest something. Based upon your mutual understanding, you bring something, You go and present that, they say no, this is not a good result, bad result, so and so. So going on, then you say no, go ahead with this is very good result, go and deploy the model in production, you'll find some good insights out of it. So these things typically happen, and this is a day-to-day task. So like any project or any like IT project, if you have done, same thing we follow here. Starts with requirements, ends with the deployment in production, and then like some kind of support you do, and you check the behavior of your model, if it correctly predicting, incorrectly predicting. I'm saying that if it might happen, like if I create an algorithm or some project, and they say okay, go ahead and go the loan and go for loan for these people, and by default like there are some characteristics available that they are going to do default, the company will show me the way to outside the office. Like, so guys, this is very risky job, I would say, and very important to the organization, because it directly impacts with the revenue that they are generating. It's not something that you are doing IT and there's some code you did and it failed and you will fix it later. No, if you think about a situation, you incorrectly give loan to like 1 quarter to incorrect person, so how much loss it can be to the bank or some other industry. So that's very important and key role that you need to play. Should we also learn statistics to become career analytics? This is very good question, and I would say yes, because behind every algorithm there is a stats. So I would recommend, if you really want to start, you need to go with stats first. Start statistics and then go ahead with machine learning, because statistics is the key to the machine learning. All the output that comes, all the models that are built, they are decided on statistics. When you go in the market, people will ask you the question on statistics. When you sell something to the client, they will also ask in statistics language, what is the p-value, what is the p-value of this particular variable, what is the confidence, and all these things you will come when you go. What do need more programming skills or more business process knowledge to be successful in this field? Do you need more programming skills or more business? Yeah, so that Namish is asking the question to me, like, do you need more programming skill? So of course yes, because like time is this industry is still growing, analytics industry, and it's growing in very fast pace. So like if I would have done programming in SAS yesterday, a few days back, I cannot say I will be definitely successful in this, because I have done SAS as a programming, but I need to know R and Python these days as well. So that is equally important, and need to refresh your skills day by day. That will surely help. Another question I have, this is more of Prashant, more of technical question. I cannot willing to answer this here. Let me go back to more people. Sir, how much statistics knowledge do we need? Full graduation or AI? Okay, so okay, I don't know, Manak or so. So this question, like, how much statistics knowledge do you need? See, statistics knowledge surely you need, but I would say go get any book from market, or maybe some course you can get and go through that, because any of that will help you. It's not something that you need to be 100% perfect in statistics, but your fundamentals should be clear. People can ask questions to you in statistics, and that's equally important for any algorithms output. If you go for some algorithms and you don't understand what it is giving you, what p-value it is saying, it's asking about t-value, it's error and like standard error, all these things, you don't know what it is, what does it mean. So that I mean, that's not a good idea. I mean, go ahead with statistics, learn these things, and then go to machine learning. Could you please let me know what is Spark and compared with this Python? Okay, Spark is Apache Spark. That is the advanced version of Apache that it came with, like so Spark, I would say, is the advanced version of Apache family, and it is being used for more of the like machine learning tasks. And Python, you cannot compare Python and Spark. See, Python is a programming language that comes with its own objective oriented kind of programming, that you can even write your HTML page, you can develop there, you can connect with any of the database, you can have multiple the machine learning algorithm library is there. You can go and connect that. Spark is morely towards machine learning and only machine learning. So you need to be careful about these when you choose. Guys, I'm sorry, there are so many questions. I am not able to answer all of that. And if I missed, what is career graph of a business analyst? Yeah, business analyst also play an important role here, but that would be slightly different. Do Spark is a machine learning tool? Yeah, you can go with Spark. It is a machine learning tool again. And can you suggest any online tutorial to learn R? But go ahead with any of it. You can find multiple things there. I'm not sure. Just Google it. You will find. I can suggest though, but all right, guys. I think any tools you can suggest for analysis. Tools. Okay, so again, like Pushkar, these tools are again no tools. Go with R and Python analysis. They do the best. Not more than that. SAS you can try. How to use ML into big data like big you said big hives in Hadoop. Okay, so for that, like I was talking about this guy, like Spark is there, so you can use Spark. Even in R, like there are some packages that we call about H2O that purely comes for like big data. You can use that, and in similar use cases are available in the Python, so you can go ahead with them. There's so many. How to get a job in data analytics? Also, what should be interview clearing technique? Milan, I mean, you can go and Google it. You will find so many things there. Difference between okay, so this is, I think some Santosh is asking some good questions. Like, difference between ML or big data. Yeah, so machine learning and big data, like these are two different things. Machine learning is sits on top of big data or any of the data. So it may be big data, it may be small data or anything. It will on top of it. But when we talk about big data, so big data, it only has data, right? So maybe you have like 3 V's, you have volume, velocity, and all this thing. So that becomes your big data. Once you have that, you will start using the machine learning techniques on top of it. So there are two kind of jobs in the market. One more towards like big data engineers who typically takes care of like all the Hadoop, MapReduce, Amazon Web Services and all these things. And another is the machine learning who build some kind of algorithm on top of it and they give something on it. So that's how like these two things are differentiated. I think guys, we are running out of time, and if you permit, you can close this session here. Have a nice weekend and fantastic career in analytics ahead. Go ahead and do some research on Google. Try to update yourself and start reading. Thank you so much. It was fantastic like to have you guys here, and thank you so much. Thank you Vikas and other people who are joining as a special guest. Thank you guys.